Is anybody there? A bit tough. Is somebody talking? I can't hear anybody. I see the question, but I can't hear anybody. Why does this say Faith Community Track 4, by the way? I think this is Track 1. I did test my mic and my speakers, and they tested fine. I can try again. Test, test. Yep, they're working. Oh, I see. Why can't I hear you? I guess that's okay. I will need to be able to share screen. I would prefer control of the slides if at all possible. Okay, great. Just enable the screen sharing and I'll go ahead and test them if you want me to, or I'd like to. Can you hear me okay? I don't know if I should be writing something. Good, I'm glad you can hear me. Go ahead. It says that you haven't enabled it yet. Still disabled? Oh, I see. Exactly. Got it. Okay, we can converse through chat. Got it. Oh, there we are. Share screen is enabled. Awesome. All right. Let's see. How do we want to show this on screen? Do we want to do this or this?
Are you able to hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you scared me a bit, but yeah.
I clicked off and then I clicked on for the mute button. So
Okay.
that's what the practice session's for.
Yep. Whew, that scared me. All right.
So so we're going to have everyone enter their zip code for attendance through the chat. That's just for.
Yeah, I saw that in my script.
And then at the bottom of your screen, if you hover, you'll see a Q&A option. Do you hear feedback, by the way?
No, not really.
Okay.
But in the way I have the slides on my screen, it does not allow me to see the, let's see, what do I need to do? I'm not able to see what's going on in Zoom except a window. So I need to do something different. It's at the top of the screen for me when I'm sharing screen. Okay, let's see what I can do here. All right, got it. How does this look on your screen?
Looks great.
Okay, then I will leave it like that. The Q&A is at my top, even though I will say it's at the bottom, because that's what's in my script, and I'm sticking to it. Are you hearing feedback then from me?
I think it's just the recording of the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Is this Susan that I'm talking to?
It's getting recorded on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, but is this Susan I'm talking to? Who am I talking to?
Yeah, it's kind of repeating back everything we're saying, but I think that's
okay. Let's see what else I need now.
No, this is Melanie Denson, the moderator. Not the moderator. I'm the tech support.
Okay. When I have this on, it won't let me go to my files. And that's, what's where I have script and everything else. Let's see what I can do. How can I do this? I don't want to end the show. But I have to.
If you escape, it might let you come out of full screen because you're in full screen mode.
I don't see escape. Where is that?
On your
I
keyboard.
see it. I see it. Okay.
Yeah, currently you're in full screen, so it kind of expands the view.
Yeah, but nothing's happening when I hit escape.
It's going to be on your keyboard.
No, I found it on my keyboard. I hit it and nothing happened. Oh. Let's see. If I take some quick steps here, I could maybe do it. Ugh, quick steps as in we don't have very many minutes. 5. You can email them to me and do it on my phone. Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah.
So my job is just to keep us on time. So I will start at 11:15 and I will end at 12:30. That's when we'll actually start the webinar because we're in the practice mode right now. Do you want a 5-minute warning or something in the chat sent to you that
would be nice.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, geez. Why is this showing? Of course, things are not going to work, right? No, come on. Come on. No, that's not it. Still not.
I'm going to try something to see if I'm going to look at some options and see if that'll stop my feedback.
Okay, I'm just trying to get the documents I need. So great, awesome. Oh, shoot. Why is this not working? I really need my documents and I can't see them when I close the slideshow. This is not helpful at all at 11:12.
Do you think it would be helpful if I had the PowerPoint presentation? And that way you
maybe, except we've revised the one we sent you and it will throw everybody else
chat
out.
you my email address and then you can send it there.
Okay, we can try that. how to get back to where I was. And I don't know, it's doing what it's doing. This is not good. Okay. In chat. Okay. I have your email. Sending the PowerPoint.
This should allow you to do whatever you need to do on your computer, and then I'll be sharing the slides as you need to.
Come on. Okay, I'm sending it to you now. Please let me know that you get it. And if we can have it on the intro slide, that would be lovely. Have you received it?
It hasn't come across yet. In my Gmail, I'm refreshing my Gmail account, and I'm making sure it's not in my spam.
Sent it again. It's showing in both cases it's been sent.
There you are, Ann.
Hi, Veron.
You have people calling you. I'm texting Doug and Jerry. I'm like, call Ann, let her know.
No, let me know what.
To sign into that Zoom number. I'm like, okay, but here you are. So that's the good part.
Oh, yeah, I'm in a practice session. So we're having a little difficulty with the PowerPoint. So we're working on that.
It's going to be all right. Today is a great.
It's going to be okay.
How is it going so far? Do you think from the other side? Because you're watching.
I think it's going really well. Those presentations have been great, but I need to work on this tech thing right now, Veron. So
Okay.
hang in there. We'll be there in a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we gotten the PowerPoint yet? Hello, everyone. I hope folks can hear me. This is Ann Helmke. We're working on a little technical difficulty. So if you can bear with us for a moment, I'm waiting to hear from our tech support about the PowerPoint.
Haven't seen it come across yet, and
Okay. Can everyone see me? We're just going to punt here. If I could get
Great.
some notes or whatever, that would be great. Yay, you're there. So we're going to go ahead and start with me just doing some talking, and then hopefully I'll be able to manage the pyro count and we'll be just fine. So everybody keep your, not just your fingers, but your hands crossed, which is what we do when we pray. Anyway, my name is Helmke, and I'm the Faith Liaison with the City of San Antonio. And I'm going to be moderating our entire faith community track. If you would please share your first name and zip code in the chat, and put your comments and questions in the Q&A box on the lower section of your screen. That would be really helpful. Any questions and answers, things, Q&A, comments, questions that you have, put those in the Q&A box. Again, welcome to everyone, and let's get started first with a little housekeeping. If you're attending this conference to receive continued education units, CEUs, please listen carefully. All registered attendees seeking CEUs must remain in the session for the entire duration. These sessions are approximately 75 minutes long, so 1.25 CEUs will be issued upon approval, and in the areas of LPC, LMFT, social workers, and psychologists. And if you want me to break down the letter alphabet soup, I can't. Each attendee can qualify for a total of 4 CEU eligible workshops Friday and Saturday. A post-session survey is required, as well as a daily conference evaluation for those CEUs. For those joining us out of state, please follow our CEU instructions, but it will be your responsibility to seek final approval from your state's credentialing board. We are grateful to have the support of NAMI Texas and the Bexar County Recast Project for making these CEUs available. Again, all registered attendees seeking CEUs must remain in the session for the entire duration. So now, it's my pleasure to introduce the speaker for today, and that would be my good friend, Veron Blue. Veron, you've already met in the plenary this morning with Doug Beach. She's a very passionate person, and she's passionate about her relationship with her Lord. She is passionate about her family, her husband of 30 years, Bishop Alfred Blue, her sons, her daughters, and her church family. She's also passionate about the people in her community, as she's been involved with different community organizational programs, substance abuse, HIV/AIDS, and drug education for youth for the past 30 years. She's especially passionate about empowering girls, not only in the United States, but also in South Africa, Bahamas, Nigeria, and Trinidad. Veron is currently working with a group, Rafa Cohort, a collaboration of 7 churches, to help educate and empower their community about mental illness. She is engaged in popular weekly program, Trauma Talk, which is designed to talk one-on-one with the community about their mental health. She received an associate's degree from American University and is currently working on becoming a spiritual life coach at the Christian Leadership University and a certified mental health coach with the American Association of Christian Counselors. Veron's passion is contagious. Trust me. Whether she is talking about her family or her community or mental health, you will be energized and motivated by this person and her passion. Veron is also pastor of Family Life International Ministries, alongside her husband, Bishop Alfred Blue Jr. She today is going to be speaking with me as she works on the Bridges to Care with me. And now I'm going to do my very best to share my screen with the PowerPoint that we're in need of. And I think we might be there. Just to check with everyone else that you are in the right cohort. Yes. And you're in the right workshop. You're in organizing a Bridges to Care cohort in your community. This is track 1 of that. A little bit that I'm going to give to you in introduction is what is Bridges to Care, just in general. It began exactly a year ago at last year's Pathways to Hope conference following tomorrow, what would be tomorrow's session and Saturday. It came together by NAMI San Antonio and the City of San Antonio's Faith-Based Initiative, which is under my role responsibility with the city. Congregational cohorts, Bridges to Care, are basically congregational cohorts in relational and geographical proximity to each other in our city. Plus, they receive about 20 plus hours of mental health education. All that combines and becomes Bridges to Care San Antonio, most importantly, a stronger and caring community. The upcoming tracks that we have following this will move from organizing to the second track on resourcing and partnering, to the third track on training and evaluating, and to tomorrow's track on moving forward, what we are going to do next. And so now I hand it over to Veron to talk to us about how we organize and become cohorts. And she has done this herself, so this comes from a leader with experience. Veron, it's all yours.
Thank you, Reverend Ann, and thank all of you for joining us today. And Ann, I don't know if you remember last year's conference, you and Doug, Ed, Olga, you all had a conversation with our Reverend Jermaine. And you were all dreaming of what possibilities our Bridges could be. As they were talking, Jermaine was talking about what was happening with him in St. Louis. And the last thing in the video was that you asked him to speak to what Bridges could be. And he said these words, that Bridges to Care would be the light, hope, and love for someone else. And that was August 22nd, 2020. Today, it's August 27, 2020. 1 year later, and we are experiencing the dream that has now become reality. You were dreaming, Doug was dreaming, Jermaine was dreaming, and even our mayor was dreaming of a more compassionate San Antonio. And I thought about what Walt Disney said, that all dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. You, Doug, Jermaine dreamed, the city of San Antonio dreamed, and here we are 1 year later, 3 cohorts, 30 plus congregations, 250 wellness champions that have either been trained or are being trained. The dream is now a reality because you had the courage to pursue them. So I say, let's keep dreaming, because we know in San Antonio, when we dream, it comes to pass. So thank you all so much. And like I said, thank you all for joining us today. There are 4 basic components of the Bridges to Care initiative in our congregations. There's a recruitment and training, where we share with faith leaders how the training will benefit their congregations. We ask them to send wellness champions, and anywhere from 10, some faith leaders have sent up to 25, 28 people. And then there's a congregation cohort development. Once the congregation or the cohort complete that 20-hour training, we have a team that helps them to determine what are the wellness needs in your congregation or in your community. And we can help them develop a mental health initiative that best suits their community. Oh, yes, we do. We dream big. Yes. Dream big, start small, just start. And the number 3 is community engagements. The cohort then begins to take a look at what the community needs. Do we have a high substance use rate? Is domestic violence prevalent in our community? What resources do we have collectively to help our community? How can we most effectively use our training? What do you want to change in your community? So we talk with you individually as a congregation and as a cohort about that, because we want to help you implement your plans. And then there's education and resource building. Bridges continue to provide education through NAMI and other organizations way after the initial training. So it's not that they train at you and that's it. No, they stay, they are in covenant with you, and they remain with you as you empower and you educate your community about mental wellness. The project coordinator sends us information about new trainings provided by the Behavioral Health Network and other mental organizations. So they stay, Bridges to Care, I love this, they stay in partnership with you as you evolve, as your cohort evolves, which it will definitely do that. So this is a partnership for life. It's an ongoing relationship between Bridges to Care, the wellness champions, the congregations, and the community. And I must tell you about the power of cohorts. Everyone needs a cohort in their community where mental health is concerned. I want to say that again. Everyone needs a cohort in their community where mental health is concerned. Cohorts are groups of people in relationship with each other and that are in close proximity to each other. They work on issues together that are unique to their community. At the moment, Bridges to Care has 3 fully formed cohorts and are working on several more. Our goal is to set up mental health cohorts in all 10 districts of our city. Reverend Ann is, yes, all 10 cities. She is adamant about that. She wants to have the whole city to have a mental health cohort, and we're working towards that goal. And you're gonna hear some more about this, about cohorts from Jerry at the 2:30 session today with Reverend Ann. The true power of Bridges to Care lies within the cohort connections, where organizations and congregations who care deeply about the mental issues in their community, they collaborate and bring change to their community. Tony Evans wrote in his article on community restoration, he said, individuals are changed and communities are transformed when people invest in others and help them look beyond what they currently see. As congregations offer tangible social services, it gives people glimpses of what their lives and communities can be. So through the training and support that Bridges to Care has invested in us, we as individuals have changed. And so because we have changed and have become a cohort, now we can begin to transform our communities. It is a powerful thing. The training that Bridges to Care has offered has changed how we see each other, how we see our families, and how we see our faith communities and our congregations. We are seeing through the lens of hope. We can see a better tomorrow. We can see our communities getting better, stronger, as mental health becomes a priority in our communities. We see the pathway to hope in 2021. No pun intended, but we see the pathway to hope. Being in a cohort allows members of an organization to make connections with like-minded people. So together they can meld their ideas and create new experiences that benefit their community. Cohorts, we learn from each other, we network, share our resources, and together become a powerful force to deal with the mental health challenges in our homes, congregations, and communities. Part of the Bridges to Care training is to help each cohort to develop a vision and a mission for their community. Each community has its unique mental health challenges, so it requires a different strategy to engage each community. When a congregation or cohort completes training, we are there to help them. What are your unique challenges in your community? What are your resources? What issues are you concerned about? What are you already doing that you can simply add a mental health component to strengthen that initiative? One of the wellness champions in a cohort has written a mental health program to assist other congregations that wants to set up a mental health program in their congregation or in their community. We strongly emphasize congregations working together as cohorts because they're so much more effective and can accomplish so much. In one of the cohorts, their vision is to educate and empower their local community by erasing the stigma, and that is precisely what they do. They focus on developing forums where they can talk about mental health, people can ask questions. They have started a conversation about mental health, where prior to the training, there was complete silence in their community about mental wellness. And so their goals are to remove the shame, to talk about mental wellness in their congregations, to teach their faith leaders about it. I personally dream of going to a place of worship and having the choice between hearing a message on faith and going to a class on anxiety or depression. Both are essential for our well-being. For so long, faith has been emphasized, which is great, but mental health needs are to be addressed also. They also want to normalize mental health language in their community. So as a cohort, and I'm just showing you the power of cohorts. So as a cohort, they have hosted and produced a spiritual mental conference where over 250 people attended. And they did all the work themselves because that's the power of a cohort. Amazing people with amazing gifts that can do amazing things and create amazing outcomes. They have started putting resource centers in the foyers of places of worship there, and then they're going to put them in beauty and barbershops in their community. They also have started a trauma talk and a bro talk Zoom shows to educate their community, and it's changing lives. They have a therapist come on and other experts come on, and anyone from the community can come in and ask a question and just find out more about what's happening with them, not what's wrong with them, but what has happened to them. And the event is coordinated and hosted by members of the cohort. Amazing things can happen when a congregations or people get together and form a cohort. The power is immense. So since June, they have had over 632 visits to the talk sessions. This is an African-American community where no one talks about mental illness, where it's a stigma and so much shame surrounded it. And that shroud of secrecy and shame is being broken, all because of a cohort that got trained by Bridges to Care. Men are talking, women are talking, young adults are talking. This is fostering generational change. It's becoming common language to hear someone talk about a visit to their therapist. No more stigma, no more shame. Ladies and gentlemen, men, this is what a cohort can do. This is the power of a cohort. There's a shortage of African-American therapists in their community. So the cohort gives out scholarships for wellness champions who have completed the project to learn to become certified mental health coaches, because that will increase their capacity to serve their community. Ladies and gentlemen, this is community transformation at its best. Cohorts change lives and change communities. One author said, changed people transform families, and transformed families transform communities. Building relationships with each other and the community are the core of cohorts, because true change is not transactional. True change is relational. Listen, I want you to just hear what some of the team leaders of the congregations that have gone through the training, how it has impacted their congregations. Tasha from Empowerment Fellowship says, it has changed my whole congregation. We all talk about mental health now. Andy from Kingdom Life says, our mental health initiative has impacted every facet of our congregation and families. Individuals are able to access confidential care when needed, strengthening families and helping us to restore relationships. Adriana from Family Life said, it has greatly impacted our community and congregation by providing a safe space for individuals through education, companionship, and service. Together, we are healing hearts and restoring minds. Keely Petty of Bethel International says, Bridges to Care has affected us in the sense that we will never look at people who have mental health challenges the same. Our eyes and heart are wide open as we are now empowered to embrace a future of healing and hope. Renee says, we now have several members who can walk hand in hand with individuals who are dealing with mental and emotional challenges, providing a safe space for them to get them the support they need and to listen without being judgmental. And Tracy with Praise Cathedral says, conversations about mental health are now being held without shame, and services are now accessible for all people. This intervention is breaking down barriers for those who are suffering in silence. We need this in our community. And this is happening in congregations where the wellness champions have taken the 20 hours of training from Bridges to Care, and they've now formed a cohort. An amazing thing is happening. People are getting the help that they need, all because Doug and Jermaine and Omeyer had a dream, and Bridges to Care had the courage to start. One author said, dream big, start small, just start. We have to talk about our awesome, committed wellness champions. People who have a heart to get in this movement and to create change. During one of our orientations, someone asked me, how long do I need to commit to being a wellness champion? I said to him, this training so changes you, you become a different person by going through this training, and you will never want to go back to who you are. A wellness champion is not something you do. It's someone you become. It becomes a part of you, and you never want to go back to not knowing. I think of my own life and how different I would be and how much I would have missed a key component of my life was I not involved with Bridges to Care and the mental health movement. Wellness champions embody and tangibly express the vision and mission of Bridges to Care. They are people who have received 20 hours of training or who are going through the Bridges to Care training. Wellness champions are ordinary people who are trained to recognize signs and symptoms of mental illness and who know how to walk with someone in a crisis and get them to a safe place so they can get the help that they need. They help their faith leaders to understand the language of mental health illness and to be more sensitive to their congregation. Wellness champions, they are not trained to diagnose nor to fix someone. They're trained to walk with them, listen to them, and care for them. Join us for plenaries 1 and 2 so you can hear their stories directly. 2 and 3, so you can hear their stories directly from the wellness champions. So who are they? A wellness champion could be anyone. A mom, a dad, a teacher, a helper in the congregation, a coach. Anybody who likes to help other people is a potential wellness champion. You do not have to have a mental health background, nor be a mental health professional to be a wellness champion. Just somebody with a heart that cares and want to see change in their families, their congregations, and in their communities. Wellness champions are special people who are not afraid to care. Their number one job is to ensure that no one walks alone. Who wouldn't want to be a wellness champion? They are the hopers They don't just give hope, they are the hope. They understand that everyone is made in the image of God, and they treat everyone as such. Wellness champions, we are trained to listen, listen, and listen. And when we get through we listen some more. We care, we listen, we understand, we help. Wellness champions have been trained. I'm sorry. This training has so changed my life. I'm sorry. Wellness champions are trained to meet people where they are and help them to get to where they need to go. And just to give you a quick story. We had someone who was trained as a wellness champion, was just checking on her friend. And the friend mentioned to her that she had PTSD and was in the middle of a crisis. She was questioning her purpose for being on the earth. But the wellness champion, because she was trained so well by Bridges to Care, I am so grateful that Bridges to Care has brought this program to not only my congregation, but to my community, and that the cohorts are trained to recognize and help other people. And she recognizes signs, her friend recognizes signs of depression and suicide. And so the wellness champion, immediately her training kicked in, and we are taught to ask this question: are you thinking of hurting yourself? Do you have a plan? And those are questions that most of us would never have asked anyone prior to the training. So she listened to her as a good wellness champion does. She listened and listened and listened some more. And finally, she got her to a therapist, called her, ensured that she went to see the therapist, followed up with her, and now she's companioning her, which means they talk often. And they have coffee together, and she's helping her to get involved in group activities. That's what's so powerful about training people in the community. People who know each other, who touch each other, and who absolutely love each other, but have no means to help each other. That's what we're now able to do. Now her friend wants to become a wellness champion. And she's going to also she's going to go through the Bridges to Care training, and she's going to get a scholarship because she wants to become a mental health coach. How awesome is that? Imagine that being multiplied 100 times in your community. I think, Dr. Ann, we are working towards having a more compassionate San Antonio. I think the mayor's dream is coming to pass with Bridges to Care. Our goal, once a wellness champion touches your life, you too want to become a wellness champion. It's contagious. And our goal is to have a compassionate city that's filled with wellness champions that listen, care, and act on behalf of our brothers and sisters that are mentally challenged. Can you reimagine that? Can we dream that big, Dr. Ann, Reverend Ann? Can we dream? Can that dream that a mayor has, and that you and Doug and Jermaine have, can that be possible in this city? I think everybody will be flooding to San Antonio because of the way we treat our citizens, our members of our community. Bridges to Care knows that mental illness, it has no boundaries. It affects all peoples, all races, all denominations, all faiths. It is indiscriminate because we understand that mental health does not ask whether you're brown or white or black. It doesn't ask whether you're an adult or a child. It just is. And Bridges to Care is so prepared to help us to deal with what is. So Bridges to Care's approach is to be a source of hope and healing for all people, all races, all faiths, all ages. It doesn't matter. I recently had baklava, homemade baklava and black tea with one of our cohort members. And we talked about our community. We talked about our children. And I realized she cares as much about wellness, mental wellness as I do about my community. She talked about her kids. She's concerned about the youth in her community. We all have those things in common. I care about the ACEs and the trauma among the kids in my community. The ever increasing suicide rates, it concerns me. My cohort and I, we've talked about it. What are we going to do about this crisis, our kids, the next generation? But I realize also, she cares about her community, also in her kids. So when I take her information about NAMI for a resource center, and when I tell her about a training about ACEs or faith to faith from that Bridges to Care is offering, I'm doing the same thing that somebody has done for me. That's the beauty of a cohort. And then in San Antonio, we're bringing all of our cohorts together. So we'll form a web of caring and support over our city. No one walks alone. That's our mantra. Nobody walks alone. Bridges to Care, we believe in the work. Can we look at the covenant?
Sure. We can.
I am sorry.
No, please, let's just take a deep breath together. In fact, I invite everybody, or we're all sitting in the same context, no matter whether we're in San Antonio, I swear. So if we all take a moment while I go link, she has asked me to do. Right there with you.
I'll tell you. Yeah, Bridges believe. Should I go to the
No, I'm almost there. Here we are. So you want to look at the covenant, yes?
Yes,
yes. I just want to point out to everybody who's looking at the screen right now, hopefully you can see this is the website. You can take, we have the link in all the slides, but you can also just simply Google NAMI Bridges to Care San Antonio, and it will take you to this website. So the people who are looking for the information, so you can even print these out. I had a city council person text me last night. I need a copy of that one pager. Where can I go? So you all can go to this site, anyone who's watching and listening, and you can click on any of these and get a lot of what we're talking about. But Veron right now is asking for the covenant that is utilized throughout the cohort. So I just clicked on it here through that website, and here we are. Veron, now it's yours.
Yes. We all know that a covenant is an unbreakable agreement. And Bridges to Care so believes in its connection with the community that it has a covenant that to help wellness champions, the congregations, to the city and its own staff to provide the training, to oversee the citywide program, to raise funds, provide staffing, and cover the cost of the initiative. In other words, for Bridges to Care, this is not a transaction. This is not something they come into our communities, get the numbers, and then leave when we most need their help. They're in this for the long haul, because Bridges to Care is all about relationship. And so they form relationship with wellness champions, with the pastors, with the congregations. We form relationship. And so the fact that Bridges to Care has a covenant with us really I know most congregations understand the power of covenant. It's an unbreakable agreement. And so as we build connections and bring our congregations and service providers, Bridges to Care trains people to be companions with one another for mental and behavioral health, this covenant is expressed on a daily basis. And there are 4 ways we can connect with each other. We can connect face to face, which implies confrontation, judgment, but we cannot heal who and what we judge. Or we can walk behind them, pushing them. You were too slow, speed it up, what's wrong with you? Or we walk behind them, pulling them. You need to follow us because we know what's best for you. Or you can do it the Bridges to Care way. You can stand side by side with them in a mutually beneficial relationship, supporting them and sharing your resources with them. It is far easier to hold someone's hand if you're standing next to them. And that's what Bridges does best. It stands side by side with you, listens to you, and then asks, how can we help? What resources do you need so you can deal with the issues that are plaguing your community? Every community should have a Bridges to Care cohort. I want to share this story as I close. Someone whom we have known for most of her life recently came to visit us. And after talking to her for a couple of minutes, we realized that something traumatic had happened to her. We knew how to listen and how to make her feel safe. We connected her to one of the cohort therapists, and they're currently helping her. 6 months ago, or 5 months ago, we would not have known what to do. We would have simply prayed for her and sent her on her way. It's amazing that when someone is physically ill, we pray for them. That's always great. But then we send them to see a specialist, someone who could help them with their illness. But yet when it comes to the brain, we don't think that's an organ. We don't think that too needs a therapist or a specialist to look at that. We are not experts. We do not diagnose. Wellness champions don't. Nor do we attempt to fix anyone. We just get them to a safe place. This is happening more and more frequently. And we know what to do in addition to praying. As I close, I echo the words of Jermaine Alberti. He closed last year, Dr. Reverend Ann. Bridges to Care would be the light, hope, and love for someone else. 1 year later, that light is shining. 1 year later, you're full of hope. I'm so optimistic about the future in San Antonio, where mental health is concerned. I am confident that we are going to triumph over this moment. Partly because Bridges to Care, the behavioral network, our mayor, our city councilor, they're all behind this effort. 1 year later, caring congregations are learning to love, care for, and restore individuals, families, and communities. I don't know about you, but I'm glad Doug and Jermaine, the mayor, had the courage to pursue their dream, because we are all living in that dream. The question now is, are you ready to pursue your dreams to bring change to your community? Question?
First of all, thank you, Veron, for your words today, your presence, your leadership. I thank the Holy One that we all discovered you and each other. We've become, a different San Antonio because of Veron Blue. So thank you so much. I've been answering most of the Q&As. I think I've, managed those along the way. But I thought maybe you might want to, I think you might have a different response or may have already explained it. Someone had asked if this was just for the Black community or others. There were also like businesses and organizations wanting to know if they could be involved. So what might you say to that?
This training goes wherever mental illness goes. So it just, because our intent is to totally not obliterate, but be able to offer services and help to everyone. We are talking about now I know Doug and we have all talked in the steering committee about organizations and businesses, because actually some of our wellness champions are already using the techniques. Their bosses are asking them, can you talk to so-and-so? And so it's happening. Some businesses already know about it. So if your business will be willing to help, we're thinking about schools and everywhere where mental illness is, Bridges to Care fully intends to be.
Thank you. Are there other questions? I think we answered most of them that were in chat. Veron, you got lots of support along the way. I know you weren't able to read everything, but people were very much supporting you. And I responded as well that that's exactly what Bridges to Care is about. That's what it is. It's about supporting each other. And if we kind of look down the road as well, it's about forming community. So as these cohorts are formed in geographical proximity, and they get to know each other and have this kind of foundational training, then they start to like weave together. And how do you see that? I know you have image about that.
I do. Can you tell?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a web. It's going to be like a web, because as we take congregations who are trained, and they form cohorts, and the cohorts connect, all 10 districts will have cohorts, and we will all come together. We have quarterly meetings, and we come together, and we'll form a web of protection over our city where mental health is concerned. There will be eyes everywhere for the homeless, for the unsheltered. We will have eyes everywhere. We are all becoming, the city, we are becoming more sensitive to mental health, or mental health challenge, brothers and sisters. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And I can talk about it because it's happened to me, and it is happening to me. And so it's happening to my family, my immediate family, my church family, my community, my friends. There's nowhere that you cannot use the principles and the techniques that you're taught in Bridges to Care. It's a life. It really is a phenomenal thing.
We do have some questions, and these are around resourcing. And the next session is going to be more on partnering and resourcing, the next track, but we can go ahead and talk about that. What kind of tools and training are available to cohorts to help them find mental health resources? Sacred, San Antonio Community Resource.org is one of those. What else is being used?
Our project coordinator, she sends out, because of our behavioral health network, they then let her know what resources, what trainings they have available. We get, she forwards that stuff to us every week. NAMI is also a huge player with resources and help. And we train the wellness champions about sacred and how to use NAMI. NAMI actually, they're about to do, in my community, they're about to do a family to family training. And so that is going to be huge. and it starts in September. And so people from the community that may have mental health challenges with a loved one, they can come to that training and learn how to help their loved one to cope. Are you taking your meds? How to provide a circle of care to them. And what's awesome about that, Dr. Ann, Reverend Ann, when we teach people, I know I keep wanting to call you, are you working on your doctorate?
Who has time for that?
When we train the members of a family to help with their loved one cope with a mental challenge, then it's passed down. So for each generation, they understand what this is how we do it, this is how we help someone that's mentally challenged. And then that's bridges to crisis is pre-crisis, Reverend Ann. So our loved ones never get to the place of being critically ill where we have to take them to take them to a facility, that we can take care of our family members at home and those in our immediate circle. So that's what's so awesome about it. And not only Dr. Reverend Ann, but it has helped us with our own mental issues, even with something as small as self-care. In the African American community, I know with us, we work so hard, we rarely think about self-care. Because of the training, I understand now when I've hit my limit, it's okay for me to say, okay, I need a break. I need to breathe. I didn't know that before. I know that may seem like unbelievable to a lot of people, but in my culture, we work 2 and 3 jobs, and we just go and go like a little, bunny, energizer. But that's a fallacy. We are not the energizer bunny. We are people, real people with real emotions, with real issues. And so Bridges to Care comes along and then tells us and teaches us the language of mental wellness, of mental health. And so we now understand what depression is. And we understand what anxiety is, and we know how to cope, and because they've now given us the language. And education is so powerful. That's how we change. And so I'm watching this change happen in my community. I'm watching it. This is not theory. This is not theory by any means. This is actually seeing it live out in myself, in other wellness champions, in our congregations, in our communities. And I'm watching what happens when cohorts come together, when various congregations, we put aside all that other stuff, that denominational stuff that divides us, and we focus on what brings us together to make our communities a mentally healthy place for everyone.
So another question that kind of follows that as well, it's more specific. So you may wish to answer it from your specific cohort, for example. Who do you direct a person to when they need professional help? So we can go to sacred.org and find out lots of different resources. And Bill, who I know is with Sacred, is here as well. So he might want to address that a bit in chat. But Veron, what do you do in the Rafa cohort?
In the Rafa cohort, we have recruited, not a whole lot, but we have recruited therapists who will help and see our friends at a reduced cost or no cost at all. I can give you an example right now, and I think that someone who is in the city and who we've known for a while, and they are dealing with some mentally, they're challenged. And I've referred them to someone who works, Dr. Sunita Punjabi, who does our trauma talks, and she is seeing him at no cost. And she's doing a brain mapping, and she's a neuroscientist, but she so believes in the work that we do that she does services for free. Many times with when she's on trauma talk, she'll say, anybody who needs to talk to a therapist, you can call me after at no cost. Then we have members of our Rafa cohort who are also counselors and therapists. And they will see our friends for like little, I mean, it's so inexpensive. So that's what we do right now. And as Mr. Neely and sacred.org is developing, ways that will offer us even more help. I absolutely love Mr. Neely because the work that he's doing is so great in this city. Mr. Neely, thank you so much for sacred.org, and thank you for the focus groups and working so hard. And oh, don't blush, Mr. Neely, But I just love his heart for what he does. We have an extraordinary group of people that are behavioral health, that form the behavioral health network. And I don't mean to brag about my city, but I can't help it. We just have people, incredible people that care about our city. And working with them is just, it's a phenomenal thing. And we have, we just have so many people. I can't thank everybody, but thank you, Mr. I love Jeff at Clarity. Oh, it's just my heart. So I'm going to stop right there, Dr. Ann.
People just have all sorts of, different questions, and I kind of keep repeating the same answer. So I'm going to invite you actually for that same answer to everybody to put that repeat question, your email, into chat. So if you're curious if there is a cohort in your zip code, if you are curious if there's a cohort in your district, if you are curious and want to be a part of Bridges, if you want to find out more about training, all those ifs, you can ask those in chat, but put your email address there and we will get back to you. Jerry Gregory is the coordinator, and I know Jerry's put her email in there several times, but I'm going to keep asking her. Jerry, put your email into chat again. But if you have specific questions, is there one in my zip code? Is there one in my council district? Just keep putting your question and your answer into chat, and Jerry just keeps saying, I can't copy it. Jerry, I'm going to suggest that you write the ones down who specifically are wanting to hear from you, but I also copied and pasted the chat. I didn't know I could even do that, but I just did that. Amy is asking, and I'll go ahead and answer it. What are the different districts geographical? I'll type in the answer, but you can also just Google Council District San Antonio, Texas, and you will go into the city's website and it's going to give you a map. All the districts cover all of San Antonio. We also cover all of the county precincts, which are a little bit larger as well. So if you don't know, for example, which district you are in, you can literally ask in the city website, what is my council district? They will ask you for your address and zip code, and they will tell you you're in District 2, if that's what you're in. But that's how you find out. That's the easiest way. I'm wondering too if there are any other questions that might want to come in. We're getting all sorts of stuff. Here we go. Sumera put something in chat, and she's just like, click on that, find my council member, my district, and it's going to show you who that district is. Our plan, and we've already, and I think that Veron has answered that. Our goal for this year by the end of September. So we started this after this Saturday session would have been a year ago. We started talking, let's make this happen. And in 1 month, we kicked it off. So October 1st, a year ago, we started. And our goal then was to have 10 cohorts formed by the end of September this year. 10 cohorts, one in each of the council districts. And we have 10 council districts. And Veron had these statistics at the beginning. We have 3 cohorts, one in District 1, which is downtown and then kind of goes straight north, and 2 fully formed cohorts in District 2, which is kind of big and it goes east from downtown. And so they have 2 cohorts, but we also have at least 1 cohort forming in all of the 10 city council districts. So in all of the entire geography, we have a total that are in formation of 14 right now. I think by what I know in the city, we have approximately 1,400 congregations in San Antonio. I often talk about faith congregations as a bit like feral cats, because they come, they go, they move, they merge, they do all sorts of things. And especially there's been a lot of that during the pandemic. But we're guessing to meet those needs of a community that's the 7th largest city in the country, to meet those needs. So Veron, don't fall off your chair. But I think we need 10 cohorts in each of the 10 council districts.
Yep.
And that would be then 10 times 10 would be 100, right? Cohorts.
Right.
That we need. I'm thinking though, with 1,400 congregations, we probably need 140 cohorts. And that is, that is a big. Yeah, I know. And that's today. But San Antonio continues to grow.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Yeah.
I will say that this has been a lot like wildfire, you know. We were, you know, had mostly like started the goal and kind of gotten there by February.
Yeah.
And so since then, it's really been rolling up our sleeves and getting that moving. And yeah, dream big. So what I'm going to say next too is, you know, if you're listening in and you're wondering if there is one, again, I'm going to say, you know, contact Jerry. I'm going to put up on the screen. We've got some cute questions here. But also start talking to people, you know, in your congregation, you know, find out if there's something in your area, but start telling people about it. Is that something you'd like to be about? And we can connect you with whoever might already be forming, but we might need one in your geography in that particular area that we don't have, even if we have one forming in that district. I mean, you look at Council District 1, and again, it's downtown, and it goes straight north all the way to 410 and a little bit more. So having one cohort, which we do, that is kind of near SAC, the Temple Beth El, Christ Episcopal area, you know, they're near downtown. We need one, you know, up by 410. Yep. And we need a couple more. We need like 10 in District 1. So just saying, are there plans to train in other cities? I'm in Dallas and would like to see this started up here. We work already with other cities that have been equally curious. We want to do this here as well. That's how we got started in San Antonio, is because they're also doing this in St. Louis. And we worked with Jermaine all through this last year. And of course, we modified it and adapted it because, you know, San Antonio and St. Louis aren't the same places. And San Antonio and Dallas aren't the same places. So it would need to be modified. But yes, contact us. I think there are already some other folks in Dallas who are asking the same question. So we might want to put that information in chat for us to follow up with you. I'm going to go ahead and put up on the slide so you have some emails to connect with and start writing those down. So here's the link to the website. That's the covenant. And here's Veron's email address.
Yes.
And and Veron, what is your title with Bridges to Care and the work that you do specifically?
I am Cohorts coordinator for Bridges to Care.
So if you're interested in forming a cohort, how that works, contact Veron.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you're curious about how this works with the city and in partnership, you can contact me at that email below there as well. Let's see if there are any other Q&As. So yes, I might have just given out all those like numbers and dreaming big for San Antonio, 10 cohorts, 140 cohorts. But, in my other dream, it's in every state. It's in at least every big city, because frankly, that's the only way we're going to grow larger geographically, but grow larger and still be healthy. There is no way as we grow larger that we're ever going to be able to financially or staff something that's centralized for such large cities. The only way we're going to be able to grow is create healthy communities
Yes.
that are connected to each other in a larger city. So, any other thoughts or questions?
And before we get off, I'd like to give a shout out. I don't know if they're on here, to West Care for their unimaginable support of what we do in the community. They are firmly entrenched in the community, and they do everything within their power to help the community to become better. Beverly Watts and the West Care team, they're also a part of the behavioral health network. And I just wanted to really take a second. They support all the events that we do, the conference, the resource centers, whatever is in our heart. Beverly Watts Davis is right there to support us. And so I want to say a huge thank you to them for the work that they're doing in our great city. We can do this. San Antonio is en route to becoming the compassionate city that our mayor sees in his heart. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I wanted to note as well, I clicked on the website, and I want to take you back there, everyone, because there's a really, I think, important resource. I think it's under About Us, and we call it the Bridges to Care one-pager. So you all may find, everyone who's listening, you might find this helpful because it's about as tight as we could do it, right? Man, did we have to work at this? But we're going to be going through all of this during these different sessions, but it gives, what it's about, how to become that. We're going to be talking in the third session about the training. It breaks down the, kind of our vocabulary and the different aspects of what we do. And there are our goals, 100 congregations throughout San Antonio, right? So anyway, I think you all might find that this resource could be very helpful when you're talking to other people, and that it is on the website for you to, go to. Any other, I'll get another one here. Questions? Please email Bud Brown. Well, here's the beautiful thing, Bud Brown. You're already connected to Doug Beach. And when it comes to helping other cities to become bridges to care, Doug is the contact for that. And so Doug, he walks on water, so we won't say exactly who he might be, but he's the guy that plans all of Pathways to Hope. But from NAMI San Antonio, he's also the lead when it comes to Bridges to Care. And so we kind of divided up the work that we do. And if a city is interested in becoming a Bridges to Care and organizing those things, Doug's your person. If you want to know how that was done, like with the city's structure, that would be me. So maybe that'll help, Bud. And I guess we could put Doug's email into chat. That might be helpful to people. Others? Any other Q&A? So, David, please attend our North Texas breakout session tomorrow at 1. Yes, tomorrow, the final session that we referred to from last year is the same sort of this year, where we're going to be talking about how we're going to move forward San Antonio. But when you go to that or come to that, there will actually be 2 breakout sessions. And the one will be for San Antonio And the other one will be for North Texas, which Bud Brown is leading. I will be moderating the one for San Antonio, and Bud will be doing the one for North Texas. And I'm pretty sure that Doug is planning on going to the one in North Texas because he's trying to help, move that forward. I hope that's helpful. Well, thank you, Bud Brown, too. Any other last thoughts, questions? We're at 12:23, but we have until 12:30. It says that Doug, I think Bud would like to have Doug come to his session. Well, I don't know, Bud. We'd kind of like to have Doug come to ours. But he's gonna let us fly on our own, I think, tomorrow. Oh, look at this. I didn't know that. San Antonio is Military USA, and is that Bridges to Care has been a resource to the military. Maybe you could say more about that in chat or in the Q&A. I'd like to know how Bridges has been a resource to the military. I'd love to hear that. Do you know anything about that, Veron? How we're being helpful?
No, but I'm sure someone from Praise Cathedral will be willing to share.
Yeah, let's hear all about it.
Yeah.
Because that's also part of Bridges, is how we are able to make connections and we learn things. Does Arizona have a contact or cohort that you know of? I do not know. I've not heard of any conversation around Arizona. I'm guessing the folks who would know best would be Jermaine, Aberdy, and Doug. Let's try to get their emails right now and put those into chat for people. They both kind of have the national view of things, what's going on in terms of Bridges on a larger scale. I believe, though, that Bridges, as I said, is in St. Louis. I'm not sure if San Antonio was second, but I know that Jermaine now lives in Las Vegas. So I'm guessing that Las Vegas also has a Bridges happening there. So, but these two guys, I think, would know more. Don't you think, Veron?
Yes.
I don't seem to have Jermaine's email. Do you happen to have Jermaine's email?
I do.
Doug?
I have Jermaine's email.
Okay, I've got Doug's. I'm going to put it in here because I know it's also in our last presentation. So I know it's okay to give out. So it's Doug Beach. I'm putting it in chat. Here it goes. Doug Beach, 78. Oh, Jerry already put it in there. Look at that. Thank you, Jerry.
Jerry is a project coordinator and is the most amazing person anywhere.
And now it's obvious why, right?
So snaps up for Jerry.
Yeah, go Jerry. Go Jerry. Well, thank you, NAMI, Southern Nevada. So glad you're here. I would really like to see where everybody's from. If everybody would be willing to put in chat, just if you're from San Antonio, you can just put SA, San Antonio. But if you're from other places, let's just see where we're all from and the kind of impact we all might be having. Here we go. Ohio, get out. Arlington, San Francisco.
Oh.
Verde.
Hi, Amy. I know Amy.
Indiana and I-State. I'm from Illinois, Las Vegas, Dallas, China Grove.
Oh, welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Well, here's one, District 2. Columbia, South Carolina.
Hey, Samara. Samara makes the best baklava.
Yeah.
The best.
Ricky, South Carolina. How did you hear about this? Can you put that in chat? I'd like to know those things. Active and retired military community. Oh, that's Praise Cathedral. So you work and have taken the information. Great.
That when we meet on Saturday, you can tell us all about that, Reverend Allen. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Reverend Praise Cathedral is part of the Rafa cohort, and we are meeting tomorrow. We're having dinner tomorrow, talking about what are our next steps in helping our community. So we get to hang out.
Therapist friend told Ricky, Bridges to Hope website, Dallas, Southern or Oregon. Well, next year on the Saturday session, Oregon, Ohio, Dallas, North Carolina, you're all going to be back. And you're going to tell us how it's going there, and that you already have 140 cohorts of 10 congregations each, which would be 1,400 congregations, all connected together, working together as a community. San Francisco, Patty heard about it from NAMI. That was really good. We were able to do a presentation of bridges at NAMI's national conference. And that was very exciting. There were 250 people who came to that. So I'd really be curious about what happened there. Well, I think we're at, wait. There's one more, I think. Oh, just somebody posted they're from Southern Oregon in the Q&A. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss anything in the Q&A. So,
hey, Ann.
Yes.
This is Melanie Denson, the moderator.
Yes.
Or co-moderator. If you all don't mind, please take a moment throughout the break sessions. We'll take a break at 12:30 and give you all an opportunity to transition to the next session that you'd like to hear from. Be sure to fill out a survey. You'll see survey links throughout the sessions so that we can understand what tracks have been meaningful to you, and we can understand what materials resonate with you all and what has been a helpful resource to you, so that we can continue to provide these great speakers and topics in the future.
Thank you. I now also have on the screen our next session is going to be at 1. And Justin Lindstrom from Christ Episcopal Church is going to be talking more specifically about resourcing and partnering. We had this is the teaser. We had an amazing thing that I don't think we really planned on coming out of Bridges through the partnering efforts. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm going to let Justin talk about that in this next one. But we had this huge thing happen that still is happening. And we didn't put that in our plans a year ago. So yay. So we're going to sign off. I believe it's 12:30. Thanks y'all for being here. And we hopefully will see you back at 1, and maybe, tell some others or some folks that perhaps from your own congregations or organizations. I think the surveys pop up when the session closes. I could be wrong, but I think that's when that happens. So thanks everyone for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you in the next track, hopefully.
Sounds great.